You remember years ago when Dave Chappelle claimed that he quit Comedy Central, refused $50 million because he didn't want to sell out or sell his soul? Well, $1.5 million was all that it took for him to go to Saudi Arabia and push propaganda about how there's more free speech in Saudi Arabia than there is in the United States. And not only was it him that was there, Bill Burr was there as well, who praised the royal family. Louis C.K. and a number of other comedians were there as well. And over the past few years, we've had scores of activist celebrities go to Saudi Arabia and play minstrel for totalitarian dictators ran by a royal monarchy. Now, remember when he was in America, joking about trans folks? His very same allies came out against him. So much so that one of their advocates, armed with a knife and gun, tackled him at that Hollywood Bowl event, if you remember that. But, again, he doesn't bring that up. What he brings up is America lacks free speech because you can't criticize Charlie Kirk. Specifically, he stated, quote, "Right now in America, they say that if you talk about Charlie Kirk, you'll get canceled. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to find out." Now, what he's referring to is people tap dancing on the grave of Charlie Kirk, who was murdered for simply talking, sharing his thoughts. People who were giving the middle finger up not to just him, but his wife and his young children. Some of those people, many of them teachers, so you wouldn't want them to be in positions of power like that. But some of those people have been fired. And I emphasize some, not all. But according to Dave Chappelle, not being able to tap dance on the grave of Charlie Kirk is free speech that is less than Saudi Arabia, who, again, he had to sign a contract not to talk about their religion and not to talk about their royal family, among other things. And quite frankly, if Trump was the man that they claim him to be, he would refuse them re-entry into the United States, which I would be 100% in support of. Because people like this are enemy threats to America. They will shamelessly be propaganda machines for rival nations. We've seen them do the same thing for the CCP in China and countries south of the border who uses the United States to leech off of to bring resources back to their country, which is what they've been doing with the whole illegal immigration thing from south of the border. And so I also bring them up because a lot of conservatives over the years have viewed Dave Chappelle as somehow different than the other libtards. I mean, again, this is also the same hypocrite who refused to support affordable housing where he lived because he knows the type of niggerdom that it brings. So again, these are the kinds of people that deserve the worst life can give them. Let's say some Charlie Kirk karma. Because I can guarantee he wouldn't like it too much if he had to wear a bulletproof vest whenever he went to go do stand-up and had to deal with the very real threat of being shot in the neck himself while talking. I mean, maybe if you keep making jokes about trans, he'll get to experience that. But he wouldn't be able to have a conversation with Charlie Kirk in the afterlife because he's more likely to go to hell. Because all of these people are just basic agents of the devil. Because all they push is evil. This shameless hypocrisy being displayed here. And then Bill Burr made a comment. Here's his comment. He stated, quote, "It was great to experience that part of the world and to be a part of the first comedy festival over there in Saudi Arabia. The royals loved the show. Everyone was happy. The people that were doing the festival were thrilled." Again, giving praise to people who actually murders people over speech. If you talk about their religion, if you talk about the rulership. Meanwhile, these people are allowed to say the most demented things about Trump and his family and go untouched. But again, they want to claim Saudi Arabia has more free speech. And it's only because a Republican, and specifically Donald Trump, is in office that they're spewing this type of propaganda. And yeah, I personally wish Trump was as tough as they claim he was. Because people like this, they don't deserve freedom in America. They're enemies of it. So why would an enemy deserve freedom? But again, this is why libtards ultimately always get what they want, because the so-called other side is always complacent or tolerant of these morons and even support them. Because a lot of MAGA hats right now are still subscribed to Netflix, still consumers of Hollywood, despite them all proving how much of an enemy they are of theirs. And again, I can list all the examples of people being killed for tweets or making comments, but what's the point? We know what the deal is over there, but these people will blatantly lie about this country, particularly when a Republican is in charge, because they're enemies of this country. They're enemies of the very place that enabled them to be famous and make the money that they make. This is why there's no coexisting with these people. And I just wish the so-called other side realized that, and at the very least, stop financially supporting them.